Hi, Nichelle.
Hi.
Welcome to Shadowbox Secrets.
Thank you.
I'm so happy this is finally happening.
I know. I'm so happy to see you
I'm
again.
so happy to see you too. It has been a crazy 2 years since I last saw you.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I am doing really great. It's been such a journey.
Yeah.
As we both know,
Yes.
kind of crazy. We are, so much farther, and it's only been a few years.
I know. And if you don't know, Nichelle is Tony nominated for Ragtime on Broadway. You were supposed to be done like a year ago at this point.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
here you are having a ragtime summer. How is summer on Broadway treating you right now?
It's been amazing. It is really hard. Like, I feel like after Tony's, we
Yeah.
all talked about it. We were like, it kind of feels like summer camp. You know, when you are done with school and it's just like, it kind of feels like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still amazing. I'm still loving like hanging out with everybody. I feel like everybody's really exhausted at this point.
Yeah.
It's such a hard musical to do because of all the emotional things. I actually had to like take a break once the Tonys were over because it was like weighing on me emotionally, and I had to go to the doctors because I had like MTD, which is muscle tension dysphonia.
Oh, no.
And like because of all the stress in the show, it just like goes straight to here
Right.
for me, and all the stress just kind of like weighs on my vocals. And but everything's good.
Good.
It's
I'm
just,
glad
like,
everything's
it's just a lot of tense muscles.
Yeah, I'm glad everything is okay now, so thank
Yeah.
you for being here today. A lot of people don't know what goes into being nominated for a Tony and going through the press junkets, the daily activities, as you will.
Yeah.
What was that like?
What it was like for me, I don't know about everybody else. I'm sure some people love it, and some people are like me, and they're like, this is crazy. As people know, I'm not on social media that often. When I do post, it's fun, but I'm just not like one of those girlies that's like out there all the time. It's actually pretty stressful for me because I would say I'm an introverted extrovert. So it is hard sometimes, but I truly love like talking to a lot of them, and you kind of grow close with a lot of the different people doing press, like you.
Yay.
So it becomes easier like over time. It feels like, okay, we're done with school and now we're back in school.
Right.
But it's like not a bad thing, of course. Like we love being
Right.
around each other. It just feels a little more like, okay, now we're like really exhausted.
Yeah.
How do we keep each other up and going and support one another in this last like push?
Yeah. So, as you've mentioned, the show is incredibly heavy and you're all there to support one another. What do you do backstage, like as a cast, if anything, that helps you get through and gets you excited even to do the show or
Yeah.
keep things light?
We definitely have lots of fun backstage. Everybody like is very close. It's kind of like our own little community backstage. Yesterday it was Brandon's birthday and
Happy birthday!
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Brandon.
and I love him so much, and it was just like really good to be able to celebrate him, and I feel like that's kind of like the overall vibe is just
Yeah.
like celebrating one another, the work that we've done, and holding each other up in this moment.
Your sense of style is incredible.
Thank
I was looking through this morning at just like every look that you put together. I was like, my gosh, first of all, you had so many looks, but you also just crushed every single one of them. Do you have a
Thank
favorite?
you. Honestly, I think opening night of Ragtime
Gorgeous.
had to be like my favorite moment. I think it was just like so beautiful, and my inspiration behind that was, Sarah doesn't like officially get married in the show, but it is something that I think would have been a beautiful thing for her to have. Her relationship with Cole House and their engagement gets ended much, much faster than it should. I think I just wanted her to have like that moment, even though it's not her in that moment, it's me. But
Yeah.
I just wanted it to kind of signify that moment, and also her purity and just how like loving and beautiful she is. And I thought white like signifies that so beautifully. It's
Absolutely.
like a satiny white, so it's just so like beautiful, and yeah.
It was so gorgeous. I loved it so much.
Thank you.
Looking back on the last 2 years, you went from playing Dorothy in The Wiz to now playing Sarah. From going on tour to then going on Broadway and everything. What do you think Dorothy taught you leading up to everything for
Oh
Sarah?
my gosh, so many things. I feel like Dorothy taught me like a sense of strength, but also I just think she taught me how to have love for the different people that come into your life. Like she was somebody that loved hard.
Yeah.
And she didn't have, you know, a lot of friends back home. And she was going through a lot. She finds these friends along the way and sticks and holds on to them because they're what she has.
Right.
And for Sarah, it's the same thing. Like Cole House and her baby, that's what she has.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's so beautiful. You know, she loves very hard. She loves 100% and gives it her all. So I would say that's the same for Dorothy.
You've now done two very, very beloved characters,
Yeah.
and you found yourself in two like mega revivals of musicals. These roles are so iconic, but to me now, like they're so iconically you. What's it been like getting to put your own stamp on these kinds of roles?
It's difficult, but it's so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the difficult part is because people look at you and compare you to these other amazingly beautiful Black women, and it can be extremely hard, you know, because you're giving it everything you've got.
Mm-hmm.
But it almost feels like crazy to compare two Black women to one another. I feel like people try to like put you against the
Which
other
is so
person,
stupid.
which is so stupid because we all love each other so much.
Right.
It feels like a little community that we kind of build, and I always feel like why not encourage other Black women to come along and create, you know, be able to do this period.
Right.
Is just an achievement in itself, and something so beautiful and exciting for the Black community. But I do feel like it is something people try to compare all the time, and it is really difficult in that way. But then the other beautiful side of things is getting to do this and getting to create something that feels like me, something that I can put myself into, and hopefully, you know, teach others even about the history of Black women. And like I just wanted to do that with this role. I just wanted to celebrate the Black women that came along and tell those stories in a way that people haven't seen before. And because it really is such a deep thing, I really wanted to show people just how hard it was back then for women. Yes, she buries her baby in the ground, and it seems like such a horrible thing, and it is. It's a horrible, horrible tragedy, but it's the horrible American backstory that we have, and it's because she didn't have much, if anything, at that time. She was working, had no husband, and back then, even when women were married, they had no right. They couldn't even buy their own home. Like, it was very hard for women, and I think a lot of women back in those times, I know they buried their babies in churchyards, and it's so sad, but it's something that is, you know, our truth and
Right.
It's history. But like Casey, mother says, we can never go back to before. We have to think about our history in order to move forward. And I think it's so beautiful. And that's what I wanted to like really, really emphasize on with Sarah.
Sharing this story with the world has just been such a gift at this point in time, or any time truly. The show is just so special.
Thank you. And also at the time, like, slavery had just ended, and
Right.
we also know in American history that the last slave who was actually released was in like 1960 something. It wasn't easy at that time at all.
No.
I think a lot of people are quick to judge, but it's hard to look at Sarah and say she was this evil person when
Totally.
it was the circumstances that surrounded her. And I think what a beautiful way to think about it too, because when we look at the society in America and how Black people come from, unfortunately, hard backgrounds, and so that passed down trauma continues and just continues and continues.
Right.
And I think people are quick to judge and quick to think, oh, this is just something that happens in their community, but it's because of our passed down trauma, because of the things that we had to live through and go through in America. And I just think Sarah's such a beautiful way of retelling that story and showing that, you know, truth.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That was
Yeah.
beautiful. As we are rolling roses, one fun thing I always love to do on Shadowbox Secrets is ask you what your rose, bud, and thorn of this experience have been so far.
Oh.
So your rose being the highlight, bud being something you're looking forward to, and the thorn, something that's challenged you throughout your time in Ragtime.
For my rose, I would say that a highlight has just been doing this amazing show and getting to do it at this time. Even at City Center, I remember we had this show like going during the election. It was like the craziest thing I've ever experienced, and you could feel it like in the audience. It felt like it was going to go down in history as like, first of all, what theater can do,
right,
and the community that we have in theater, and how amazingly connected we all are, and how amazingly connected we all felt in that moment. It was just the most incredible moment. I remember that night when he who must not be named was elected, and we all had that moment of silence before Dream, and it was just, all you could hear was just silence and crying. I don't even know if I have the words, but it was like, I'm getting chills like thinking about it. Right? Like, it was just like the most connected I've ever felt to an audience. It was just the most beautiful experience. So I think getting to do this during these times, which are 1000% going to go down in history, I think that was like a huge highlight for me in this journey, and a huge highlight for everybody. I think it feels so incredible. And then a bud, I think something I'm looking forward to is just continuing to use the show to think about America in an even deeper way, and just continue my journey with understanding Sarah. Obviously, I knew a lot about all this stuff being a Black woman in America, but getting to play Sarah has taught me even more. And I'm doing the research. I mean, these are things that they don't go ahead and teach you in school, but I think it's honestly important for people to know about the history of America and some of the hard history in America. It has given me this like different perspective and outlook on the world, even though I already had that. I feel like it's just expanded it even more, and it feels wonderful. The most challenging thing for me, the emotional part for me, has been so hard. I think in the beginning I was like, I got this, I can do this, I'm just gonna like go ahead, and when I'm done with the show, I'll just go and I'll just center myself, and I'll get home and I'll do regular human things. And then I like started doing the show, and it's just like, the longer you do a show like this, and you have to continually hear things, you know, from other characters, and you have to continue to take care of a baby that's not yours. It's like you start connecting to a baby doll, and it's just like these different things that like you don't even think you're gonna experience, but I just feel so connected to a baby doll. I feel so connected to Sarah, like and
that's on acting.
And that's on acting. It's like reliving trauma 8 shows a week, and it's been very hard on my mental health, on my physical health, and even if you feel like you're doing okay, the body keeps scoring. I do have a therapist, and she's always like, you know, we're gonna do our best to keep you going, but she's like, it is that thing of your body keeps score, and it's just, you know, it's the name of the game. I went to an ENT about my voice because I was like, it feels like so hard to sing Daddy Son lately, and I've never had a problem with it before. And she was like, you know, you're in fight and flight the entire show. And she was like, it has nothing to do with your vocal folds because they're in perfect condition, which thank God. Like, I try so hard to sing. I was like, I try so hard to sing healthily, even with all the emotional things. Your body, it you know, tenses up, and it feels things so deeply. And, you know, even if you don't want to feel it, it's like your body's like, but you are going through trauma. So, and I knew that was happening because I would have like tics in my body and like just like weird things, and I didn't think that was like a thing that could even happen to me. But I was so willing to go through it for this, you know, role and this character, and to tell this story, and to tell this story specifically for Black women and, you know, for our ancestors. And I just wanted to be able to do it. And even though it's been hard, I feel honored to tell this story. Hopefully afterwards I can go on a nice long vacation or, you know, something to reset myself and bring myself back to ground level.
Even through all the hard stuff, like I hope you are proud of yourself, because you really are just spectacular.
Sometimes it is hard for me
Right.
to like be proud of myself when I'm going through things like this, you know, like
Right.
sometimes I'm like, Nichelle, why are you giving so much of yourself? Like, it's theater, you don't have to give so
Right.
much of yourself. But then at the end of the day, I'm like, you know, this is something that I chose to do for my ancestors, and when my grandmother died, it gave me a even harder push to tell this story and to tell it well, and to try and give that some justice. Because obviously when I think about it, I'm like, my grandmother might not have lived through slavery exactly, but she did live through the times when she couldn't go to certain restaurants and things like that. And also, I'm pretty sure that more than likely her parents did go through some you know, slavery or really, really, really hard times. So when I think about all those things, I'm like, I want to make sure that I do this role some justice.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
No, of course. I'm super happy to do it.
One thing you've spoken a lot about is just how intense and emotional this show is. What is something that you do to bring yourself back to being Nichelle again after the show that kind of brings you back to being yourself?
Well, for a while, I didn't have my dog, and it was literally so hard because I left her in Virginia with my mom, and it was extremely hard for me because she is my best friend. I missed her so much, and I did struggle like in the beginning to bring myself back to square one, especially with just all the things happening outside the show, you know, we're humans. So when I got her back, I definitely had an easier time of resetting myself. And I remember just coming home and, you know, just trying to like give her some love, taking her on some walks, you know, that is always really, really good for me. She went on tour with me with The Wiz, and that's when I got her.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah, it's just so much easier to reset myself and bring myself back to ground level, whereas before, I just tried to be human. I would just come home, I would just, you know, watch a nice like TV show or like an older movie from my childhood, like Cheetah Girls, for example.
So
like, I would just try
One or
to. Well, I actually like both.
Okay.
But I would say 2, maybe Barcelona.
Yeah, so
you know, that is my favorite one for some reason.
So good.
It's just so good. All the music is so good.
It's such a bop. Yeah.
Is that the second one?
Strut? I think so.
Okay, period. I love the Cheetah Girls,
So
and
good.
just watching like older movies or
Right.
older TV shows, Sex and the City, you know, all those things.
So good.
Like, I would just try to bring myself back to ground one and reset myself.
What's it like getting to sing across Joshua Henry every single night?
It is really amazing. I mean, we have created such a strong bond between the characters and between ourselves. Like, I love Joshua so much, and it's just been amazing to work with him and do the show and tell these stories of these two. And it's really fun and exciting. We sometimes find new things every night, so
Love
it's
that.
been really great. He's incredible.
I've seen you say a whole bunch of times that what is meant for you will not pass you by.
Yeah.
And I think that in this specific moment in your life also, it just resonates so strongly. And it's always something that I feel like I need to hear as well.
Yeah.
Can you talk about just how that has reframed your mindset?
I have always said that in my life. When I was younger, I had a lot of people move on. Like, I remember I always had this dream of, like, you know, being a singer or doing something in the arts. Of course, not arts and crafts.
Different
But, as we could see, this dream of doing the arts and being in the arts in some way, shape, or form. I didn't know how, but I just knew that's what I wanted to do. And I remember as I got older, people kind of like, you know, started to become normal and were like, yeah, I'm going to school for mathematics or like things like that. And I was
still
like,
don't think that's normal.
yeah, I'm like, mathematics, like, heck no. But I remember like people started to be normal and I was still stuck in that. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep being stuck in that, and I'm just going to think, you know, if it's meant for me, it will come to me. And since then, I've always just been that way. And I've always thought to myself, just work hard. And I've always told myself, work hard so that when the door does open, you're ready to walk through it. And I've always said that to myself, you know, and because like sometimes you don't know when it's gonna happen, but if you continue to just like work and not give up and, just keep going. Eventually things will come to fruition, things will happen. And I think for myself, I just wanted to make sure that when they did happen, I was ready and that I had, a good mindset. And I remember my first job, I did hairspray.
So good.
I know, right? But it's crazy. When I got there, they were already so brought down because there were so many things happening, which is common when you're on
Right.
tour. It's like
It's a bubble.
It's a bubble, and like it's very repetitive. But I just remember thinking when I got there, like I just want to continue to have a positive experience because I know that this is only one step to whatever is next.
Yeah.
I was just gonna keep on moving, keep on going up the steps. And I remember people, like there was this one person who was like so upset that I was happy. She was so upset that I was, just enjoying this job, even though I was like working my butt off. Like I would not go to bed until really late at night because I was trying to get all the things memorized and in my head so that I could be the best I could be. But I remember this one girl so upset that I was like, I guess enjoying myself and going day by day.
Right.
And just, and I was very nice to everybody, but she just like couldn't believe it and was like, this isn't summer camp. And I was like, is
Think
to
what
me.
you want.
Obviously, that made me very sad. But I remember just saying to myself, what is meant for you is going to be for you. Maybe this is just a lesson. And maybe this is just like something that you needed to see or be around because it's not always going to be amazing. Like Ragtime's been amazing. The cast has been amazing. The Wiz, amazing. I loved like being around everyone. It feels like a family and we continue that, and are still very close with one another. But I think there are times, when people are frustrated and the job is hard and, I think it's good that I had that experience. And so that is one of the experiences that I try to remember when I go into, my world and just be like, I try to tell everybody, just enjoy the moments, the good and the bad. And just remember that when the door does open, you're going to be ready because you've experienced so much.
I needed to hear that. You ready to see?
Yes.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I love it. Do you want to show?
Okay.
Yes.
Yay! We did it.
We did it. Yay. So tell everyone why you chose this iconic depiction that I feel like has become just so this revival.
Yeah, I chose the red, white, and blue obviously because it's American, ragtime. Red, white, and blue flowers are just perfect to me.
Yeah.
And it just signifies like growth and blossoming in America and hopefully a nice transition. I know she always does flowers, but I have always thought flowers were like a symbol for my life and even, because my grandmother loves flowers and she would plant them, like,
I love that.
and then of course this because of Ragtime and the thing that's on the cover of our playbill and I just think all the hands on the torch is amazing.
It's amazing. It's such a beautiful depiction because it wasn't in the original. I think it was just for this one and I love it.
Yeah.
Well, sadly our time here is wrapping up. I have to ask you our final standard 3 questions here at Shadowbox Secrets. So the first question is, if this was in a gallery, what would its title, little card be?
I would say Tate's famous quote, which is, without art, what is our existence but chaos?
I love that. Oh, Brandon. Secondly, if a castmate had to surprise you with a shadow box, what decal or something do you think would be on top of it, and who do you think it would be from?
I think if there was a shadow box that was handed to me, it would be 2 ships. And I think the person who would hand it to me, and I say 2 ships, by the way, because in the very beginning there are 2 ships, and it's like so beautiful because it's an immigrant coming in, but then it's also like a very white man on the
so
other
long white
ship.
man.
Right, so long. But it's 2 ships, and it's just such a beautiful depiction of like America and what it should be and what it should look like. And I would say probably I have to say this person, which he has nothing to do with this scene, of course, but he is just my favorite person. I love him so much. It would be Ben that gave that to me.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And lastly, once your time with Ragtime has wrapped up, whether it's 2 months from now, 5 years from now, what do you hope that this box reminds you of when you look back on it?
I hope that it just reminds me of the journey. Again, I know that flowers are your thing, which I love. I just think seeing red, white, and blue flowers, I think for me, would just remind me of America and how it was during this time. Hopefully we come to better times soon. But I just think it signifies hope and love and growth and never going back to before.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so happy we got to do this.
Thank you. I am too. It looks so beautiful.
Oh, well, thanks for crafting with me.
Anytime.